Bubble is a Japanese anime film released in 2022, set in an abandoned Tokyo swarming with bubbles and gravitational abnormalities. The plot of the film revolves around a gifted young boy, Hibiki. After Tokyo is cut from the rest of the world, its skyline becomes a place for young people, including Hibiki, to compete in parkour team battles. Things take an interesting turn for him when he has a fateful meeting with a mysterious girl. Before the opening credits, a boy is seen flying in the universe where he comes across a beautiful flying mermaid. Set in Tokyo, the anime starts in a world where Tokyo is overwhelmed by bubbles that break the laws of gravity. The two teams, called the Denji Ninja and the Blue Blazes, are seen participating in Tokyo Battlecore. Tokyo Battlecore is a 5-on-5 game where teams bet on the outcome of a parkour match. The lucky team that captures the flag wins. Even though the game is quite dangerous, all the kids participating desperately have a strong desire to win it. The competitors are seen using all their strength to win the game. Meanwhile, a researcher named Makoto is seen using her binoculars to watch the game. The head of the tournament, named Shin, inquires her about Hibiki, and she replies by saying that he's busy being lost like always. During the game, a member of the team Blue Blazes, named Usagi, jumps on a bubble, but as a consequence falls after the ground collapses underneath him. Seeing him dangling, Makoto freaks out, fearing that he might fall into the antlion pit, but soon Shin alerts the rescue team about the incident. Hibiki senses that Usagi is in danger, and using his exceptional powers, he saves him from falling. While humming a melody, Hibiki then takes a fast pace and overpowers his competitors. He wins the game after acquiring the flag, earning the crowd's respect. After the game, Usagi storms at Hibiki for abandoning him earlier after saving him. Hibiki explains to him that the jump he did during the game showed his recklessness. Hibiki likes to remain isolated and avoids others due to his auditory hypersensitivity. While the Blue Blazes team celebrates their win in the ship where they live, Hibiki does not join them. They're happy to acquire the rice from Denji Ninja's team, as the parkour tournaments are used as a means to barter and trade supplies. Makoto lives with the team members, and being an elder takes care of them. It turns out that she is here just to observe the gravity anomaly. Makoto then goes to annoy Hibiki and takes away the headphones that he uses to abate his hearing ultrasensitivity. However, after seeing Hibiki getting enraged, she returns them to him and asks about the move he used to rescue Usagi. He then warns him to keep his dangerous moves in check, or else she will be forced to report them to the headquarters. Just then, Hibiki hears a woman singing from the Tokyo Tower and decides to go there. Makoto asks Shin to follow him to make sure Hibiki remains out of trouble. A flashback scene explained by Makoto reveals that 5 years ago, bubbles fell all over the world. The bubbles had mysterious powers, and their arrival brought mayhem. Soon after, a huge explosion occurred at Tokyo Tower. Tokyo became ground zero and was enclosed in a gigantic bubble. By the time the accumulated bubbles surrounding the area burst and turned into water, Tokyo was no longer the capital of Japan and became uninhabitable. Scientists from all over the world came to research in Tokyo, but none were able to determine the cause of the phenomena. Soon, Tokyo became a residence-prohibited zone. However, various young boys defied the restrictions and started living there anyway. They ignored countless orders to leave and started participating in a dangerous game that made use of the city skyline. They are orphans who lost their loved ones due to the mayhem. In the present, Hibiki still claims he can hear the sound of songs coming from the tower. The cloud that now covers the tower, the center of the blast, contains a complex gravity field, and there are rumors that ghosts exist inside the cloud. Back in the present, Hibiki decides to climb the Tokyo Tower after he hears a woman singing. In the process of climbing, he sees a boy there and becomes even more determined to reach him. He almost reaches there but ends up falling into the ocean, where he breathes out a bubble that combines with another bubble to make a 15-year-old girl. She approaches Hibiki and kisses him, the same visuals that were shown at the start of the film. The following morning, Usagi and Makoto are relieved to see Shin bringing Hibiki back to his boat, but they are surprised to see the new girl with Hibiki. Shin explains to the team members that the girl saved Hibiki's life. Hibiki feels embarrassed by the girl due to her carnal behavior, as she is new to being human. The girl unknowingly puts her hand in boiling water and is saved by Makoto. While the members are exacerbated by her weird behavior, Shin suggests she stay with them. He expresses the idea that the girl might become a capable player in the Battle Corps. At night, Makoto takes care of the girl and lets her sleep next to her. However, the girl sneaks out of the room and goes to Hibiki's room, gazing at him all night long. The following morning, the Blue Blazes team is seen training in the deck. Hibiki, who likes to train alone, is called to the deck to attend to the girl. Hibiki is surprised to see the girl harmonizing the same song that he often hears from the tower. Usagi realizes that the new girl is actually quite amazing and can be a good addition to their team. Just then, the new girl barges into the hen's cage and crushes all the eggs mercilessly. The hen freed from the cage attacks Hibiki and bruises his face. While having lunch together, Hibiki teaches the girl how to eat. Makoto suggests Hibiki name her as she saved his life. So, he names her Uta on account of the song she sings. She quickly adopts the name and learns from Hibiki readily. Soon, Makoto learns that there are no changes in the gravitational anomalies and realizes that they are all set to prepare for the next rationing. Just then, Shin arrives and inquires about Uta. Makoto tells him that Uta is settling well and adapting to human life quickly. Makoto asks Shin why he is so into the parkour games but does not participate in them. Shin reveals that he lost his leg during the tower run and ever since has been walking with an artificial limb. Makoto suggests that they should stop the parkour games altogether as they are too dangerous, but Shin explains that the boys like to play them at their own risk. Soon, the Blue Blazes members discover a team called the Undertakers that have started using some sort of contraption in the parkour games. They defeat another team called the Mad Lobsters with their mechanical boots. That night, Uta picks a fairy tale from Hans Christian Andersen called The Little Mermaid for herself that has a story similar to her life. Makoto reads the storybook to her, which reveals how the Little Mermaid fell in love with a prince whom she saved. Then onward, Uta starts considering herself as the Little Mermaid and Hibiki as the prince, her newfound love. Soon, Hibiki starts training Uta for the parkour tournament. While the rest of the Blue Blazes team members appreciate Uta and Hibiki's duo, one of them named Kai envies Hibiki. Uta starts reading books to learn about worldly life and gets acquainted with a lot of new information from Makoto. One day, Hibiki leaves the ship early in the morning. Uta follows him secretly to the garden where she finds Hibiki watering the flowers. Hibiki asks her not to tell anyone about the place and keep it a secret. He reveals to her that due to his auditory hypersensitivity, he struggled to live the city life which concerned his mother, so she bought him medicated headsets and got him treated by multiple doctors. He recounts the explosion that left him traumatized, but one thing that remained constant was the song that he kept on hearing. Uta is moved by his story and starts singing the same melody for him, attracting Hibiki to her. The Undertakers arrive in a U-boat outside the Blue Blazes ship. Makoto detects that the gravitational waves appear to be unstable for quite some time. Just then, the Undertakers storm into her research room, kidnap her, and leave a cue card challenging the Blue Blazes for a parkour tournament. The Blue Blazes fume with anger after finding it out. Even Uta becomes enraged and decides to defeat them. The Undertakers declare Makoto the prize trophy of the tournament. Kai takes the lead and plans a strategy with his team to beat the Undertakers. Finally, the game begins and the Undertakers use their sponsored mechanical boots to ascend. They give the Blue Blazes a tough battle, almost flinging them into the antlion pit. However, Uta refuses to give up and uses her exceptional bouncing capabilities to scorch the Undertakers. Hibiki joins her, and together the fiery duo put forward a great show, leaving the crowd awestruck. However, in one final catch, when Uta touches Hibiki, her arm fades away into bubbles. Despite being surprised, Hibiki pushes Uta to take the flag, and the Blue Blazes win the tournament with flying colors. After the match, Hibiki approaches Uta to make sure she is fine, but before he could see her faded arm, the rest of the team members arrive and praise Uta for her splendid performance. Makoto is given to them as the winning trophy, and the team throws a party to celebrate their victory. The team members' jaws drop after Hibiki appreciates them for their outstanding performance. While everyone enjoys the party, Uta stares at the Tokyo Tower from the secret garden and realizes that she has to return back to the ocean to her mermaid sister or something terrible might happen. Just then, Hibiki joins Uta in the garden and gifts her a seashell pendant to commemorate her first victory. He confesses that he has started acting like himself after a very long time and credits Uta for it. Uda is touched by his words, but just then the bubble activity starts up again. After looking at the magnitudes, Makoto realizes that it is the second bubble fall phenomena and suggests leaving Tokyo as soon as possible. Usagi mentions that they can't leave as Hibiki and Uda haven't arrived yet. Meanwhile, Hibiki holds Uda's arm only to discover that it's fading more than ever. A bubble from Uda's existence bursts into Hibiki's face, which reminds him of the first bubble fall phenomena. It turns out that during the first bubble activity, Uda floated to the surface of the ocean, and it was her melody that Hibiki heard for the first time in the tower. Uda tells Hibiki that it is the last day for her to see her prince. She decides to stop the activity, for which she rushes to the Tokyo Tower. Hibiki follows her but gets dropped into the ocean after getting trapped in a bunch of red bubbles. Shin rescues him to have him back on the ship. Soon, the city starts sinking after crumbling into pieces. Makoto realizes that the changes started ever since Uda came to their ship, and she starts putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Before the ship could leave the city, it crashes into a building and gets stuck. Meanwhile, Uda enters back into her real world of the ocean. Hibiki decides to save her and starts preparing to leave. At first, his team advises against it, but when Hibiki asks Kai to come along, his entire team stands up for him and decides to bring Uda home together. Shin tries to stop them, but Makoto asks him to let them go as she is aware that there is something about the tower that only Hibiki and Uda know. Before the team takes off, the Undertakers offer them their bouncing boots. Finally, the Blue Blazes leave for the tower, keeping their guards high against the red bubbles. Soon the tower opens, two spiderwebs, sucking the city into it with its unreal power. Seeing the team struggling, Shin decides to join them despite looking out for his prosthetic limb. Busting out his legendary tricking, he shows Hibiki the route to the observatory. Hibiki senses Uda's singing melody, after which he finally enters the tower. This stops the bubble activity, and things calm down all of a sudden. Seeing Hibiki inside the tower, Shin encourages him by saying that he is the only one who can save Uda. As Hibiki goes inside the tower, he's surprised to see the same visuals as 5 years ago when the bubbles fell on Tokyo for the first time. He realizes that when he tried to interact with Uda's melody, it might be the moment when he would have unintentionally angered the bubbles. At that time, Uda protected him from the explosion by trapping him in the bubbles. As he touches his younger self, it fades away into bubbles. Finally, he sees Uda struggling to stay back and tries to approach her. Meanwhile, the rest of the team returns back to the ship and informs Makoto that Hibiki went to save Uda on his own, leaving Makoto shocked. On the other hand, Hibiki gets trapped inside a red bubble. Seeing him in trouble, Uda comes to save him, but she fades into bubbles, as in The Little Mermaid story. The tower starts to collapse, so Hibiki holds Uda tightly and saves her. However, Uda's body keeps fading into sea foam, but since Hibiki was with him, she does not feel scared. The two of them plummet into the sea, where they share a beautiful kiss together. Before taking her last breath, she tells Hibiki that she will always cherish the life she lived as a human just because he was in it. She disappears into bubbles, leaving Hibiki and Makoto weepy. With the end of the bubble fall phenomena, the citizens of Tokyo return and start to rebuild the city. The parkour teams continue living their lives the same way as before, competing in the battle core. The film ends with Hibiki participating in a parkour tournament during which he's followed by a bubble that emanates Uda's melody. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. If you'd like to stick around, check out these other videos from the channel. And before you leave, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more anime in minutes.